Hello there survivors and welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm going to show you how to build this little house for Astraeos using the Astraeos Custom Cosmetics skins. Of course, perfect to start your adventure on the new Greek DLC, but also you can build this pretty much anywhere as long as you use that custom cosmetic to make it look nice. I actually will show you some variations for the building. If you just want to start with the small side building that is there, you can easily do that on day one and then later maybe add the bigger main building right next to it. It should be completely possible to build this on official. I will actually show you some of the ways that I do overlapping and how to avoid them if you can't do that because you play official or you play on official settings. As always, if you enjoy these step-by-step build tutorials and you want to see more, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, let me know what builds you would like to see next. This is the build we're making in today's tutorial. However, I'm going to show you a few ways that you can build it. We're going to do like a step-by-step. We're going to start with this little part on the side so that you could quite easily do that maybe already on day one and then slowly upgrade it to add the bigger part of the house so that you have more room. We'll also be showing some differences between probably what you have to do on official versus what you can do if you have collisions allowed, so that you can kind of collide between the roof and the slope walls that we need. But yeah, at least you'll still be able to do it on official. Some details you might not be able to do, but it will still look like a pretty nice house once we're all done. So in order to get started, we need a foundation, of course, and the foundation is quite simple. It's going to be a 2 wide and then a 3 long for the first little part of the build. So this is just going to be that little side addition of the building that we're starting with. We'll start by adding a little staircase right there so you can get onto this, and this will be a little porch area. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 thin pillars right there. And then we'll also want to make sure that you have those pillars going all the way into the ground underneath. Then we can take out our railings and add them like this so that we have a little porch area created. Then here we want to have a double doorway right there and a normal wall right next to it. At the back, we also just want to have 2 normal walls. And then here on the side, we actually want to have 2 little windows. Now, of course, this side is going to depend. If you're just building the small version, of course, you're going to want to probably just mirror the other side. If not, this is, of course, where it's going to connect into the main building. But just for now, for the sake of it, we'll have those walls there temporarily. We'll take out our pillars. We'll have 1 pillar over there. We'll have 1 pillar over here as well. And we can add them to this corner too. And, of course, the last corner here as well. Then we want to add in our ceiling right there, right here, and also at the front like this. We can once again take the stairs, but then this time we want to have this little staircase, so we can add that in the corner right here. And this should make it possible to go up into this little second floor that we have. And then we check out normal walls. On the side, we're going to want to have them right here and right here on this side. For now, we can just close this off completely. Of course, once again, if you build the side building, this is where it will connect. But for now, we're just focused on this little one. We'll add some windows right here and some windows right here on the front too. And then, of course, we can add in our sloped walls just like that for both of them. And then we can have our little quarter ceilings expanding the build on this side. Then we can have the first variation of a quarter wall, depending if you use wood, of course, otherwise it doesn't really matter. And I guess with skins, it kind of doesn't matter at all. But yeah, we want to make this too high as well. And then we can have a little window here too. So then what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get the right snap point on top of this and add some sloped walls in here as well. There we go. And that should allow you to basically add a little roof. Of course, you want to have ramps as roofs for this build. So just like that. And at the end, we want to add in 2 little quarter ceilings, which will connect up to the rest of the roof eventually. Now, if you're building on official and you can't overlap at all, That means you would just want to fill in the roof like this, and then on the other side as well, and that is kind of it. Then all you need to do afterwards is add in some tiny quarter walls here, just to kind of fill in that last remaining piece. And of course, it looks a little bit weird now, but as soon as you start skinning it, it will look like that. But if you do have the option to overlap things into each other, you can actually make this look a little bit nicer. Instead, what you want to do is, once again, grab the ramp. Instead of lining it up with these two, you want to slightly off-center it. So you want to have two of them like this, and then overlap through the sloped walls that we have. This will mean that we have a little overhang going on, which of course will look a little bit nicer, but unfortunately is not possible on official settings. And there we go. That creates a little house, and once skinned, it's gonna look like this. Of course, we'll skin everything in a little bit. Damn, that's a big dragon flying by during a tutorial. Well, yeah, that's kind of how you build the first layer. Then, of course, you want to make sure you add in your doors and your windows before you start skinning it all to turn it into the proper little house. Because, of course, it looks a little bit weird. But this is how you build the very small starter base. Of course, if you're not building the side building, what I would probably also do is add the little pillars on this corner as well. Of course, that's going to change as soon as we make the main building. But first, let's turn this into an actual Astraeos looking base. Okay, so there's 3 variations of these custom cosmetics. You have the 1, 2, and 3, and each of them will give you different results. For the foundations, we just want to go around with the first one. That is totally fine, but of course, definitely feel free to play around with these skins and see which variants you like, because you'll see that all of these structures will look slightly different depending on which one you use. We want to at least get the railings in there. We want to change the staircase as well, and here on the inside we definitely also want to make sure that the staircase is changed, as well as the doors over here. And we want to change all the walls on the first floor here to these. We can also change the windows, that's fine, and change all of these walls. There we go, that looks quite nice. And actually for all of these windows we can kind of just use this, although you can definitely replace them with the other variants if you like them more, of course. And actually here on the inside, what I like to do is this wood. I want to make the frontier wood because I just like that a little bit more. And I think that looks pretty good. If you do have overlapping, what you also could do is change to these scaffolding pieces and flip through the right snap points, and then add one right there and one right on the other side. You will see this on the inside, but you can kind of work around it. But it does create a nice little support for this side building. And here on the side of this addition, you can also change these so that they're smooth border walls. And then it's time to switch out to the second variant. Now, this one is the one without any topping. So what you want to do is all these little pillars below, we want to change them to this variant. And as well, these ones below here, we also want to change those to the second variant. Obviously, the other ones, we want to make the fancier one with the proper endings. We're not going to do those just yet. And then this is what we also want to use on the roof so that we get the nice iconic blue roofs. There we go, just like that. And the other side as well. And then we can also change these quarter walls or quarter ceilings so that you get the nice look for those. Oh, and these on the side, I almost forgot. It doesn't really matter what you change them to. You could do the first variant or the other ones. Kind of depends on what you like. You won't see them too much. And then we can go to the third variant. We can do all these pillars, which will now have the fancy top, which is what we want to see here, of course, to add some nice details. We want to have these beautiful walls on this side. We can get those nice slope walls that fit with the build, and slowly but surely go around transforming this into a nice tiny Greek home. There we go. So that is the small addition. So this you should be able to build quite quickly. You don't need that many materials. And of course, since you're using custom cosmetics, you could even start building this out of thatch. Although maybe wood is a little bit more advisable. And there we go. This is the small version of the building that you could make. But of course, if you need some more space, we can build the second part of the build right next to it. Okay, and of course, if we start building this next layer, there's a few things we want to do. First of all, this wall will need to go, and these two pillars here on the corner will need to go. Then what we want to do is also take out these two walls, because obviously that's going to be the connection into the rest of the build, and the rest should be able to just stay as is. We want to add in 3 foundations right here and take them out by 4 in total before filling in this entire shape, and that is going to be the addition to the building. And of course, we're going to have another entrance, or a back entrance, I suppose. So we want to have a little staircase here so you can easily get in and out. And then we can start filling in some of these windows. We'll have some windows like this, and one in the middle on the end of the building. And then we want to add in a little doorway right there in the corner so that you have like a back entrance to the building as well, or a main entrance, depending on what you prefer and where you're building this. And then we can fill in the rest of the layer with some normal walls. Also, don't forget to fill in this wall, of course, kind of making sure that we have this little porch entrance once again. And then what you can do here on the inside, but this is optional, we have some nice curved slope wall skins in here. So you can add some slope walls. Just keep in mind that that means that you can't cross everywhere, but only straight in the middle. So if you don't like that, leave this out, but I do think it looks quite nice. And then we want to make sure that we raise another layer on this building, because yeah, we want a little bit more space in here. So we're gonna make this a little bit higher than the previous one. Then we can take out the stairs again, add them right here so they go up to the second layer. We can add in a slope wall right there, and then this is where we can start filling in the ceilings just like that all the way around. Fill them in. And of course, we want to have a little balcony here on the front. So we'll continue like that. And yeah, I prefer using the Frontier skin here for the wood. You could just have normal wood, or you could use the Astraeos one, but I like to bring in a little bit of different textures. And then here on the front, on the outside, we want to make sure that we add our scaffolding as some proper supports underneath the balcony to yeah, get some nice details in as well. Then we can take out some pillars, and we want to make sure we add them in on the corner right there. Right here too. This corner, of course. And then this one, we want to make sure we raise up. All right, we'll take out some windows. Here on the end, we add 2 to the corner, and we'll add 1 in the middle on the other side. Over here, we want to have 1 window over there, and then 2 windows there at the back. We want to make sure that we switch to the double doorway, add them next to the window to the balcony, and then the rest of the walls, again, we can just start filling in like this to create the layer of the building. And then, of course, we want to make sure that we add another layer of walls on top so that it's a little bit taller. We have a little bit more room inside to use, as well as, yeah, you don't have a very flat building. Then what we actually want to do is bring out our pillars. We want to bring out our thin pillars here on the front. On each one of them, we want to add 1. We want to take out our railings, make sure we have them in between, just like so. And then we want to take out our ramps once again, and we want to make sure we add them in between these pillars and the walls so that we have a nice roof on top of our balcony, which again adds a nice little bit of detail here at the front. We want to take out our quarter ceilings and also add them to the side of the building here. Let's do the same thing here on the other side to create a little bit more room on both sides. Then we can take out our quarter walls, add 4 of them right here in the middle on both sides of the building, just like that. We can take out our slope walls, add 2 like this and 2 on the other side. Might look weird, but as soon as we skin them, it will be perfect once again. So we'll do that on both sides until we create this entire shape. So that already is starting to look quite nice, like good building. Then here actually we want to take out this one wall. We want to extend this with one extra ceiling. Of course, we can skin that again. We can have some scaffolding to support this side bit. And then we can have some normal walls on the side of this building. And then a window right here in the middle. Of course, we want to make sure that we have some slope walls going back into the building. And then we can take out our ramp and place it right there on top of it. We can, of course, continue these pillars all the way up to the top where they meet the rest of the roof. So there we go. All of them raised up like that. And if you want to, you can actually also remove this full wall and instead use some quarter walls there to kind of save a little bit more room and make sure it fits quite nicely. Of course, we can take out our doors now and fill in all the doors and windows. There we go. Just like so. Now, if you're building this in official, you just want to kind of fill in the roof like this within the lines. So you just start over here and you continue to the other side. But once again, if you can overlap, you can actually overlap through the slope wall and you can start filling this in quite easily. And you'll just have a little bit more details. But unfortunately, I don't think that is possible on official. So we'll just go along and fill this in and we'll have a nice little roof. So yeah, that is all you need to build. Then of course, once again, it's time to start skinning some of these. The first thing that we'll do is these railings. We actually want to make them out of wood. I kind of prefer that look, but of course, feel free to use the Astraeos ones if you like them more. But again, I just want to bring in a little bit of different colors into the build. So this time we'll start with the third structure because that's where we ended last time. So we'll first do a nice fancy layer at the ending of this roof. It has some extra details on the end, as you can see, which is quite cool. Brings in a little bit of difference with the side building, making this stand out. And then of course we want to make sure that all the slope walls are going to be the shallow version so that they fit nicely with our roof without any issues. Then you can also change these pillars. Don't worry about the orientation. We will rotate them to look nice, of course. But for now, yeah, we just want to make sure that all of these are looking quite nice. So yeah, we want to make sure that these are all the right ones. This is going to be a different skin. Those are all going to be different skins. There we go. That is looking quite good. And then, of course, the top layer here of the walls, we also want to change to this skin. You can fill in these little ones as well, or you can pick the different variation. There's another variation. We'll show that in a little bit. But yeah, you can pick whatever you want. This one we can make fancy if you like. And then, of course, this top layer, once again, we want to make the fancy skins. And then this one you can fill in with the nice details. Or if you like the clean version, of course, you can use one of the other variants. I might do that as well. And of course, this one we also want to make sure that is the correct skin. I think that is everything we need from the third variant. Like, of course, you don't have to do it one by one, but because we can only have one custom cosmetic on a hotbar, I find it easier to go by variant instead of, you know, doing everything in the same layer first. So these pillars, we just want to make sure that we continue them into the ground like this. Then we can start filling in these walls with this skin. Can do the same over here, just like that. Oh, we actually did forget to change these into the right skin, so we'll leave those for now, but those also of course need to be shallow. We can now do all the ramps, however, to finish our roof. Looking great like that. And of course, this little roof here at the front as well. We can fill in these walls. I also forgot these pillars. I'm an idiot. But yeah, we'll fill in these walls too. And don't forget about these ones right over here. And you can, of course, change these ones again if you want this look. Or you can, of course, use the blank ones if you prefer those. It's whatever. You can definitely play around, especially on these quarter walls. There's quite a few good variations for those. And then here, the first layer, of course, we want to change all this here as well. Make sure that we do the floors. And of course, we can do this at the side. Make sure that we don't forget about those. All the windows. And yeah, if you want the clean look, of course, that is the first variation. So yeah, you could go for a completely clean look on that layer if you prefer. And then this side as well, we want to change all the skins over. There we go. That is already looking quite nice. So we should have almost changed all the skins. Don't forget this one on the inside. And this one here on the side as well. And if you wanted these curves on the inside, you need to use the second variation for that. As I say, it looks quite nice, but don't forget that the hitbox of the slope wall is still there, so you can't cross underneath all of them. And then we'll just do the last skins that I forgot, the third variation. And then, of course, these pillars here on the front, we want to change them as well. And there we go. We have a nice looking little starter house, perfectly themed for Astraeos, and should give you a decent amount of space on the inside to use as well. So yeah, that is a nice little Greek house to enjoy. What you can do here on the back, if you want to add a little bit more detail to this and maybe also keep some of your tames parked next to your house, what you can easily do is add a little roof right next to it, just like this, and then turn this into some kind of like maybe like mini stable area, or at least a good area where you can keep some of your tames nicely parked, and mostly just kind of breaks up the back of the building. So there we go. We can have these. Of course, make sure that we flip those variations around. The same thing actually goes for this layer. We want to flip those pillars around so that they are oriented the right way, and you get those nice looks that we want instead of having them all going the same way. There we go. And then we'll finish this with the second variation for this roof. There we go. So yeah, you can make a little area like this so that you can park some of your tames here. You could even make sure that you have the foundations here, maybe add a little fence if you want to make it safer. But yeah, you can at least break up the back of the building this way a little bit easier. So there we go, that's how you build it. Let's check out the fully built one right here. There's some little decorations around to bring it to life. Of course, you can have statues of Astraeos on medium deco boxes. And don't forget that you can actually still scale it. So you can make it bigger if you need to, or smaller. So you can get exactly the right size of statues that you want. I added some chimneys as well. You can see a bigger statue here. And then here I used some of the Western deco mod to decorate a little bit more. But yeah, you can definitely decorate it quite nicely into your personal base. And then, of course, we can enjoy it. Here I actually left these wood, again, to just bring in a little bit of different textures, but that is completely up to your own personal taste, of course, what you prefer. And then we can go inside. You can see it's a little bit crowded in here, so what I did is I added some boxes underneath the stairs. This is, of course, where these overlap, so I placed the smithy here so that it kind of fits right into that little area that has been created. And then down here there's mostly some storage, preserving bin, and some smelting going on, kind of like the basic needs that you need. You probably want to add a light in here. I didn't actually light these things, but there we go. Then here we have a little fireplace, we have a generator and a library. Of course, we have our lovely windows as well. And then this room we have some more of the crafting stuff and just a little bit of a living room, I suppose, and a bed to respawn in, and of course access to our lovely balcony to enjoy the views around. So yeah, there we go, a quite nice, easy and cozy starter base, perfect for Astraeos using the new custom cosmetics. Hopefully you enjoyed this build tutorial. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you around in the next one. Goodbye.